Hello everyone, I'm Shuhei Nogawa. I made Moe. Moe is a Vim-inspired terminal text editor written in Nim. I've worked on Moe for years, and it's grown into the editor I use every day. It's great to be back at NimConf. Today, I want to share what it took to redesign and rewrite Moe in Nim, and I want to show you what you can build with Nim. Let me start with the scale. I last spoke here at NimConf 2022. Since then, Moe reached version 0.5.0, and that took more than 1,000 commits. That's 4 years of real, continuous work, not a weekend prototype. The big news: I removed NCASIS completely. Moe now runs on a TUI framework I built myself, called Selena. I also rebuilt the input and key bindings internals from the inside out. That's the groundwork for configurable key bindings and later a plugin system. So here's the idea I want to plant early. Moe is a large practical app written in Nim, right on top of my own Nim TUI library, and I've been running it at this scale since my last talk. So, what is Moe? It's a Vim-inspired terminal text editor written in Nim, but it's not a Vim clone. If you know Vim, you feel at home. You get modal editing and Vim-style key bindings. You configure it with toml configuration file, and if you'd rather not hand edit a file, there is a config UI. The goals I keep coming back to customizability, flexibility, user friendliness, and performance. And there's what it really looks like: syntax highlighting, the file tree, the whole thing. All of it is Nim code. Here's the shape of the talk. I'll cover the foundations, and then the main part of building a full editor in Nim. First, Selena, the TUI framework I built to escape NCASIS. Second, the LSP client, the fastest growing feature since then, made async with Chronos. Third, and this is the main part, the buffer backend, for text data structure written in Nim. And finally, a quick digest of everything else and a demo. Let's start with the foundation, Selena, the TUI framework. This is the layer everything else in Moe is drawn on top of. The obvious question is, why build a TUI framework myself? First, NCASIS is a C library and I wanted that dependency gone. Depending on a third-party C library means relying on whatever happened to be installed on the user's machine. I wanted to cut that out. No NCASIS, nothing the user has to install. Second, Moe has two hard requirements: true color and proper full-width character support. It starts them with. True color gives me real 24-bit themes, and full-width support means CJK text and emoji line up correctly instead of breaking the layout. For me, these are not optional. More than editor people actually type Japanese into. And third, at the time, there was no Nim TUI library that met both needs, so I built my own. That's Selena and it's on GitHub. There was a gap in the Nim ecosystem and filled it myself. And here are the results. NCASIS is finally gone. I now have a rendering base that handles true color and frees characters correctly. And because I own the whole stack, I can do things that are otherwise hard with a third-party library. For example, I built an integrated terminal UIs inside Moe, and because I control the emulator end-to-end, it can answer the capability queries that programs send it, DA1, DA2, and DSR. So anything running inside Moe sees a terminal that behaves correctly. It also comes with a clean PTY shutdown, so leftover processes when you close it. The part I'm most happy about, Selenium stands on its own. It's not bad inside Moe. It's a separate, reusable library. So something I built for Moe, something any other NimTUI app can pick up and use today. That's giving back to the Nim ecosystem. Next, the LSP client. The LSP client is async using Chronos, so the UI never freezes while it talks to a language server. You keep typing and results arrive when they are ready. That's the key idea. Let me show you how far it can. Here is the before and after. Back in 0.3.0, almost 5 years ago, there was almost no real LSP support. By 0.5.0, Moe has a near complete LSP client. Next, let me show you everything it can do now. The LSP client supports a lot. For example, completion with signature help, hover, find references, rename, all the way up to semantic tokens, call hierarchy, and even raster analyzers on extensions like run single and debug single. These aren't all perfect yet, but the main functions works in daily use. The takeaway isn't any single feature, it's that all of this is lined up side by side in an editor written in Nim. Now the main part, the buffer backends. For swappable text data structures, new in 0.5.0. This is the part I most wanted to talk about today. Here's the idea. Every editor has to decide how to hold the text in memory. Most pick one data structure and live with that. But the best way to store text isn't fixed. It changes with the file, its size, how you edit it, how and history is kept. So instead of betting on one structure, I implemented 4 of them and made them swappable. You pick the backend at startup with a flag or the configuration file, and default is the auth. There are the 4 on the slide, from a simple gap buffer up to a red-black 3 paste table. And also isn't just, and auth is just a fallback. It actually chooses by file size at load time. Small files get the gap buffer, and files 10 megabytes and up get the paste table. Crime is nice, but I wanted number, so I measured them. Same file, same operations across all 4 data structures. The file here is about 0.8 megabytes, 20,000 lines. Times are in milliseconds, and lower is better. And here's the interesting part. There's no single winner. Every backend wins at least one row. These are the numbers in bold. The gap buffers row tells the story best. Right next to the castle is basically a 1. That's why it wins local line edits, the 0.1 there. But spread your edit across the file, and it has to keep moving the gap around. The cost shows up immediately as 64 on the next row. That trade-off is exactly why one size doesn't fit all. So choosing the structure by use case really does buy you something. The climb holds up. Alright, a quick digest of everything else, and then a demo. On syntax highlighting, I added a lot of languages, but count of languages isn't the interesting part. The key engineering point is syntax highlighting is now incremental. When you type, it doesn't re-tokenize the whole file. It only reads what actually changed, so it stays fast even in large files. On day-to-day developer experience, there's Git integration, for example, diff display and conflict markers. There's editor config supports, so more follows your project own settings. There's a configuration mode with a UI, where you can edit theme colors in place and watch them apply and search through your settings. Plus mouse support, jump list, code forwarding, and quick run, which auto detects the shebang and just runs the file. None of these headline features on their own, but together the polish for daily uses has gone up a lot. Now, let me show you the LSP in action. Waiting Nim language server initialization. Okay, first is LSP hover and compilation with signature help. Next, go to find references and go to definition. Last is LSP rename. You can use terminal or more. So, to wrap up, 3 things. Selena, I dropped Encasis, the C dependency, and built a NimTUI library with true color and full with character support. LSP, it grew into a near-complete client. The standout since my last talk, and it's async on Chronos, so the UI never breaks. And the buffer backends. I built real text data structures in Nim and made them swappable because no single one wins everywhere. If there's one thing I want you to talk away, it's this. In Nim, you can build the whole stack from a TUI library or the way to up future editor. What's next? I'm thinking about making the editor extensible through a plugin system, maybe using NimScript. The details are still open. Right now, I'm just building a small prototype to see if it's feasible. Both Selena and Moe are open source, and issues or pull requests are very welcome, of course. And if any of this got you curious about building TUIs or editor in Nim, please come talk to me. Thank you.